UFC 326 Charles Oliveira versus Max Holloway for the BMF title takes place this weekend, and we're going to go through and give my predictions for the card today. It's a pretty stacked card, and before we jump in, I want to take a moment to ask that y'all like and subscribe. It really helps me out. It helps build the channel, and I love doing content like this for y'all, so yeah, it would really help me out. Also, before we jump in, I have made it as an MMA YouTuber. I've been blocked. Ariel Helwani has blocked me. This is hilarious. I have less than 100 subscribers, so I don't know how he values my opinion in any way. But I called him out on some snake behavior on Twitter, and I guess he didn't like that, and he blocked me. So, chat, we're mainstream now. Ariel Helwani better check in with me before he tweets again. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out before this video starts. But I'll shut up. Let's go ahead and get into the early prelims. The first fight on their debut of Luke Fernandez versus greatest actor I've ever seen, Rodolfo Bellato. Now, Luke Fernandez, explosive finisher. I think he's coming off of the Contender Series. He's undefeated. His opponent, Rodolfo Bellato, has had quite a few weird ones in the past year or so. He had that matchup with Paul Craig in which he took an up kick and then faked being slumped out cold for some reason to get the ref's favor. I don't understand. He was losing that fight too, it felt like. Before that as well, he had a fight canceled because he has herpes. So the guy's just a fucking weirdo. And I'm going to take the finishing instinct and aggressiveness of Luke Fernandez. So, round 1 KO TKO for Luke Fernandez. We'll go ahead and move on to Jung Lee, I think. I think it's pronounced differently. Like, I've been seeing it on different outlets that it's pronounced, I don't know. But versus Gaston Bolaños now, or technically, Ili Taptoro. So Ili Taptoro, he's just too inconsistent. I mean, the guy's what, like 8-5? You know, is he coming off of a win? No, great. Now I understand Lee's coming off of a loss, but in this matchup, Lee's only had like 1 or 2 losses, I think, and he's a grappling ace. He's got a lot of wins by submission. And Gaston, I think, is going to be the smaller guy here, 5'10", 5'7". I think the physicality, it looks like he's also moving up a weight class, so I think the physicality of Lee's just going to be too much, and he's going to find the submission. Probably late, he'll have to, you know, have an exchanging fight on the feet for the first 2, maybe 3 rounds, like throughout the second and going into the third round, but I think later in the fight, as Bolaños starts to wilt a little bit and his smaller frame just can't hold up, Lee's going to find a submission. Maybe a TKO, but we're going to take submission late rounds for Lee. We move on. Rafael Tobias versus DR Nergaze. Kind of same thing here. Rafael Tobias on his debut. DR is a UFC fighter, but he's not good at all. He's kind of a lamb to the slaughter. I understand 10-2 is not a terrible record, but the guy just isn't like an explosive finisher. He, like, you know, he's got, like, some KOs on there, but I don't know. Maybe his physique is throwing me off. Like, he's a decent fighter, but I just don't know if he'll be much. These men are both pretty much realistically the exact same on stats. Like, looks very similar, but I think I'm going to take Rafael Tobias. I mean, he just seems to have a bit more killer instinct. I mean, these guys on the Dana White Contender Series, they come in looking for a finish. I mean, I don't know where DR's head is at after his, you know, his loss. I'm just going to take the explosivity and the consistency of Rafael Tobias. I mean, he's been looking really good so far, and I don't know too much about DR. I just have a feeling, you know. Like, there's not too much on paper here that screams out one or the other, but, you know, just a gut feeling. I'm taking Tobias. Probably, and I'd say it's light heavyweight, so they have power and a little bit of athleticism. We'll see a round 2 KO TKO. If not, probably a decision. But I think a KO is in our favor. We'll go ahead and move on. To Suma Duerji versus Jesus Aguilar. I'm probably going to take Jesus Aguilar. I don't know, though. Because this is like, I think this is like a pick'em fight. Like, the odds aren't populated, but I have a Tapology pulled up. I was doing some research before this. It's like 53-47 for Jesus Aguilar. So it's a very close pick. Like, not a lot of people even know how this is going to go. Both these guys coming off good momentum. The record doesn't say much there, but they're both fast, explosive, fun flyweights. And obviously the power's on Suma Duerchi's side, but it looks like the you know, aggressiveness and the grappling is going to be on Jesus Aguilar. And I feel like that matters at flyweight because you don't get too tired to grapple at flyweight for the most part unless you're at the top. I think at the lower level, like Suma Duerchi and Aguilar, maybe Suma Duerchi will have the striking initially, but I think Aguilar will tough it out. He'll strike on the feet himself, but I think he's going to look to grapple, push him up against the cage, tire him out, drag him down to the mat, and punish him there. I mean, Suma Duerchi, tall guy, but look at that frame. It doesn't look like it's going to hold up too well. I think Aguilar being 4 inches shorter, it'll really help him drive his head into his chest, be a little, you know, pit bull in there, and get the takedown. I see a decision here, but I think it goes to Jesus Aguilar. We'll go ahead and move on 2. Oh, that was the early prelims. Now we're on the prelims, I guess. Cody Durden versus Niam Jargle. Jesus. Um, it, we're taking Niam just because I understand he's coming off of his first loss, but I think that motivates him to get it back. And I'll be real, I actually like it's tough picking this matchup because I don't personally know Durden, but he trains locally around me, and I know people that know him, and I mean he just seems like a cool guy, and it sucks to pick against him because you always want a hometown hero to like represent, but Durden's just not that durable. I mean the guy's towards the end of his career, he's taking a lot of damage. He'll always have a good first round. He'll be a bat out of hell. But come second round, I mean, things start to change. I'm pretty sure his opponent here has really good grappling. Yeah, I mean, and Durden's known for his grappling, so it's not like that's going to be his method of winning. And I think if he can keep it on the feet initially and probably put some damage on Durden, then the grappling will come his way. I understand they're both coming off losses, but I think, like I said, uh, Niam Jargle is going to be more hungry to get this win back. It's his first ever loss. He's probably motivated as hell. He's Mongolian. Dude's got warrior genes in him. And he's got, while being the same height, quite a reach advantage over Cody Durden. 4 inches of reach. I think that'll let him get his striking off. I mean, he's kind of a lankier guy. And I think once he's, softened Durden up maybe to the head, to the body, and Durden's a little bit more willing to get into grappling exchanges, I think Niam Jargle is going to look for him, maybe thinking that he'll be a bit more successful. And I think he'll just do better overall. I could see Durden getting finished in the later rounds if he gets tired or takes enough damage. This could always go to a decision. It is a flyweight bout, but I think we're going to say late rounds KO TKO for actually late round sub, I think, for Niam Jargle over Cody Durden. I think Durden will be hurt in a sequence and while trying to recover or escape or gain position back. I think Niam Jargle is going to shoot a slick submission through and find it. But yeah, so my pick for that one. We'll go ahead and move on to Ricky Tarcios versus Alberto Montes. We're going to take Alberto Montes. I think this is his debut. He is coming off the Contender Series, but the guy's good, man. 11-1. Like, that's a really good record to have at featherweight coming into the UFC. The guy's a finisher. I can't remember what his base is. I want to say it's striking. Yeah, I mean, no grappling stats, pretty much. The dude is very good counter grappling, which Ricky isn't really known for being the grappler, but if Ricky tries it, he's got that defense in his back pocket, and I think he's going to light up Tercios on the feet because Tercios runs forward like a zombie and hopes that you'll tire out. And while this could be like a weirdly rude fraud check if Tercios was able to do that, I think the output and the power of Montes is going to be enough. He does have that submission game as well as the takedown defense if Tercios really tries to get close with him. I guess he does a lot of reversals or just finds them standing. I'm not really too sure. I haven't seen his Contender Series fights. But I just think Tercios is just too inconsistent, man. I don't really know too much about Montez's game to say that he's going to win in any way. But I just don't see how Tercios wins. I mean, the guy's just a zombie and walks forward every time. If you can hit him with good shots, keep your distance, and then win the grappling exchanges, whether they're on his or your terms, I think you beat a guy like Tercios pretty handedly. So we're going to take Alberto Montes. We'll say decision. I think it's very hard to finish a guy like Ricky Tercios, but yeah, we'll take Montes by decision. We move on. Dante Johnson versus Cody Brundage. Now, I'm pretty sure I've seen a Dante Johnson fight, but I just can't quite recall too much about him. He is undefeated, though. I think I picked him in his debut to win, and he got the KO. I mean, dude's vicious, and who else gets KO'd pretty often than Brundage? Granted, this could be a back-of-the-head illegal strike KO because Brundage somehow always finds himself there. But even if he tries to get his wrestling off, I mean, the grappling of look at Johnson, just a ball of muscle. That dude is going to be a problem. Undefeated, nasty striker, nasty grappler. I don't see how Brundage wins this. Brundage might have a good first round, holding his own. Maybe, having that little, having a good bit of skill behind him. He is a bit bigger than Johnson. Maybe he'll use that, vet experience and really try to put it on Johnson in the first round. But I think if Johnson can weather the storm that is Cody Brundage, I think he's going to put it on him. We haven't seen Brundage look great in his recent outings, whether he's winning or losing or getting cheated. He gets hit with a few good shots, and you might have to call it for him. And I think we're going to see that with Dante Johnson. I'll probably see a KO. If Brundage is always willing to strike, I think he always ends up in that pocket dogfight if his opponents are looking for it. And I think if Johnson can set that up right, he's probably going to find the KO. Now, he does have a submission in his back pocket if it goes to the ground. If Brundage gets dropped and on it, as he's trying to get up, he finds a sub. That'd be great. But I think he could find the TKO here. So we're going to go with Dante Johnson by round 2. KO, TKO. We'll go ahead and move on to I think it's the last one on the prelims. Cody Garbrandt versus Zhao Long. This is Zhao Long. It's if he has a loss, then why is he in the UFC? But he's in his road to UFC. I don't understand. He must be in the UFC at this point. Crazy record for Zhao Long. Both these guys coming off losses, and even though they're relatively the same size, there is a bit of a reach advantage for Zhao. I think we're taking Garbrandt. Zhao's, nothing special. Like, he's well-rounded for sure, but he sees the decision more often than not. I mean, he's a good striker, but he looks a bit small. I think Cody's evasiveness. Now look, Cody Garbrandt has looked good in recent fights when he wins and when he has winning exchanges. Like even against Davidson Figueiredo, he had him in trouble on the feet. It's just when Davidson took it to the ground, Cody was in trouble, and I don't see a guy like Zhao taking it to the ground. And if he does, I don't see him having enough submission ability to get Cody in danger. I think Cody's defense is better than people think. His opponents are just that good. I mean, it's Figgy. So I'm going to trust in Cody Garbrandt here. Like, obviously, he could get chinned. He could get subbed. But I don't know. I think he's probably got 1 to 2 more really good veteran performances in him before he calls it. I think he could slick strike on the back foot and coast for 3 rounds over a guy like Zhao Long. Maybe even, drop him at one point. And I think if this goes to the ground, Cody can hold his own. I just don't see Zhao Long having enough in his tool set to put away a guy like Garbrandt in any way. So we're going to take Garbrandt by decision, probably. I could see him losing maybe the first round, having a hairy moment there. Or maybe he loses the third round after Zhao Long starts to figure out his timing and his range. But, yeah, we're taking Garbrandt by decision. We move on. I believe, this is the main card. Honestly, this is kind of a weak card for a pay-per-view, but the headline alone holds up. The long-awaited rematch that we've wanted, asked for, begged the UFC. We needed to see this again. Gregory Rodriguez versus Bruno Ferreira 2. This is a tough one because I think in the first fight as well as this fight, Gregory Rodriguez is the favorite in this matchup because, I'll be honest, consistently he does look better. In that first fight, Ferreira just caught him with a jab that literally put him out cold, which I don't know if we've ever seen from Rodriguez since. I mean, the dude had to take like 1,000 overhand rights from Cannonier to get put down, so I think it's fair to say that was a semi-fluke KO. I mean, I think Rodriguez knows I don't want to get slept like that again. Let me lock in. And the dude's got power. He's got a lot of range. I mean, 5 inches in height, 3 inches in reach on the arms, 4 inches in reach on the leg on a guy like Ferreira. And Ferreira's got good movement, but he's kind of a shell and he tanks forward. And he could find the KO again. That's the thing, is he very well could find this KO again. I just don't know if I would bet on it. I think I would bet on the consistency of Gregory Rodriguez, the athleticism, the first round hellstorm that he can be for some people. If he lands a good shot and sees that it hurts you, he's just going to start firing and throwing caution to the wind, which could get him slept. But I think most of the people are picking him. I think it makes sense to pick him. This is one of those instances where you can go, yes, it was a good KO by Ferreira, but could he replicate it again? Only if Rodriguez has not fixed those holes in his game, and I'm going to bet that he has, because I think he's a young guy. He's taken a good bit of damage, but he's 33 despite looking like Obama after his presidency. But yeah, we're taking Rodriguez. Now, Ferreira's a really, really hard guy to put away. Sorry, I had to snort really hard. I just don't know if he can put him away. That's the thing. And I think we could probably see Rodriguez having a really good round 1, round 2, maybe some grappling sequences, some exchanges where he really puts some mustard on Ferreira. But I think in round 3, if he starts to, wane and get tired, I think Ferreira could really put it on him. But I hope Rodriguez could survive to the bell. So we're taking Gregory Rodriguez by decision. He could find a finisher. It's just really hard to see a guy like Ferreira getting finished. I mean, 17 fights, only losing 2 of them. And I don't know how many of those are by finish. So taking Rodriguez. Please don't let us down. And now the even harder to pick matchup. Oh, my God. Drew Dober, the volunteer cop, if you get my drift, versus Michael Johnson, the most 50-50 fighter you have ever met. The dude could 10-8 Khabib on any given day and lose to Ronda Rousey by Twister. You never know. But Dober's been looking What was Dober's last win? Hold on, let me look at the odds for this, just because, I'm going, what are people even thinking? Because I think people are leaning Johnson. It's 51-49, bro. I can't even turn to the fans for their opinion on this one because it's like Drew Dober is very, very good. It's like, but is this one of those matchups where Michael Johnson just gets it done? I could see either guy chinning them, like either guy sleeping the other one. I just don't know, man. Sorry. I'm taking Drew Dober. Now 100% Michael Johnson can win this, and I can see him winning this. I genuinely can. But I can see Drew Dober also finding it. And I think when it comes to who's gonna end up in that exchange where they put damage on first, I think it's Dober. I think Dober has a really good moment initially, and then kind of lets his opponent work into the fight, and then he starts taking damage. But with a guy like Johnson, I think if Dober can hurt him early, I think he could definitely find the chin of Johnson. Whereas I think Johnson needs to build into a fight just a little bit before he really finds that sleeper shot. So we're gonna ride with Drew Dober by KO. I mean, it's either Johnson or Dober by KO. There's no other pick for this fight. So yeah, God bless Drew Dober. Let's hope he wins. We move on to Chihuahuas. Rob Font versus Raul Rosas Jr. This is the thing, man. I mean, Rob Font was fighting professionally when Raul Rosas Jr. was 9 years old. I think Raul was like my age. Insane. Look at how much better he's doing than me. No, I'm joking. Rob Font, he just doesn't have it anymore, man. The guy was good at one point. He's a New England cartel guy. They have like a 2-year prime, and then there's like no trickle-down effect. We haven't seen Cater look the same. Font's been getting his ass handed to him by a lot of his previous matchups. I mean, the guy's 22-9. It's not the prettiest record. Whereas Rosas has already kind of tasted that defeat. And I'm sure he's talked about wanting to retire early, wanting to be the youngest UFC champion. I don't think he's going to do that. But I think with retiring early, he's got that mindset of, like, I need to get this shit done. So he's taking this seriously. He's a very good grappling ace, which is honestly one of Font's toughest things. Font gives up so many takedowns. Where's the grappling here? Yeah. Takedown defense, 43%. Against Raul Rosas Jr.'s 4 takedowns per minute. Yeah, you're getting cooked, bro. We're taking Raul Rosas Jr. probably by a decision. He could find the submission. Don't get me wrong, and if he does, Chihuahuas. But I think Font might have the defense to not get subbed, but he'll probably get mauled over 3 rounds. I can see Rosas, using his grappling to get him good ground and pound positions and putting damage on Font. I wouldn't be surprised if his face looks like a balloon after this fight just from the ground and pound. But yeah, we're taking Chihuahuas to win by decision. Let me take some refreshments. Shout out. Gotta be one of the greatest flavors. Monster wants to sponsor me. I'm here. We move on to the co-main event. Dude, there's like no hype for this co-main. What the fuck? Kyle Bahio versus Rainer de Ritter. Now this one's tough because as much as Rainer's a very good fighter, and I see him beating a lot of guys in the division, despite his loss to Brendan Allen, I don't think Kyle is one of those guys that I see him beating. I think Kyle's very athletic, and he's consistent. We saw in 5 rounds against Nasruddin Imavov, he was able to keep the pace. Even though he was losing, he didn't gas, he didn't quit on himself. He was always looking for that shot. Both these guys coming off of losses, I know they're hungry to get it back. And unless Rainer just pulls his grappling out of the bag and finds a submission on Bahio, which I think is very difficult, I don't see him landing anything that can shin him. He does have a frame advantage on him, so maybe he could wear him with the grappling and find a submission or find a volume TKO like he did on Bo Nickel. But I don't know if I rate Kyle Bahio that low. I think Bahio's got really good striking. He's aggressive, he's fast, he's durable. He's like a better version of Paulo Costa, with just maybe a little less power. And I think he's going to win over 3 rounds. I don't know if I see him finishing Rainer unless he catches him with like a good overhand like Whitaker did. Maybe he finds a finish there. But I think this could go to a decision where Kyle just outdoes him maybe over the first 2 rounds. I could say maybe Rainer has a really good first round like he did against Allen. And then round 2 and round 3 he gets a bit tired. I mean, like any fighter does. I'm not going to call this a cardio problem. And I think Bahio just takes over. So we're going to take Kyle by decision. I don't really see a finish happening here. I think both guys are durable enough to survive, but just don't see Rainer being aggressive enough to find a finish on Kyle. We move on to the main event. Max Holloway versus Charles Dubronx. Dude, this one's so tough. It's heartbreak to pick, truly. Um, we got a lot of people riding with Oliveira. I'll be real. Oliveira's slick. He got the win over Gamrot. He's looked good. I'm taking Max Holloway. It sucks, man. It really does. The first fight has nothing to do with my pick here. That was a year ago, and it was a freak injury. It's just where they've been as of recently. I mean, Oliveira has been dropped, I think, multiple times over his past 3 fights. He's been KO'd for the first time viciously ever in his career. The win over Gamrot was good, sure, but I think Max has enough awareness to avoid that grappling game. I think he'll survive it. And how he looked against Poirier and Gaethje, dude, at 55, Max has some fucking power. At 45, he was good, he was aggressive, but you didn't see him always putting guys away unless it was like volume and like body. Dude, at 55, Max hurts you with his shots. We saw Poirier like shy away from some of that power. Gaethje couldn't handle it. The spinning back kick that Holloway goes for. I could see that, putting some damage on Charles. It's very unfortunate because I really do like Charles, and I think that if he was in his prime, like on his championship run, I could see him subbing this version of Holloway, like not really respecting the power and taking whatever he can and fighting the submission. But I think at this point, dude, like Oliveira's good. How often have we seen Max sub? Max has been subbed once, I think, and that's when he was a JIT in his debut by Poirier, and he came back and beat Poirier's ass in his retirement fight. Excuse me. And I just think Max looks better, man. I think Max has way more aggressive striking, way higher output. Oliveira doesn't do well with high output. Like he wilts to it. And he's been training that point down. I don't think that fight's making it to that. I think we could see Holloway hurt Oliveira pretty badly. Oliveira's going to have good moments, man. He's going to have grappling. He's probably going to have close sub attempts. He's probably going to have good striking moments of his own. Holloway could be in trouble, but I don't see Oliveira getting that respect on the feet. I think Holloway knows he has the chin, he has the power, he has the movement, he has the footwork, he has the dynamic striking, and I think he's going to use that to his advantage. He's going to stay moving against Oliveira. He's going to really avoid grappling, knowing that it's Oliveira's, it's his, reserve. Maybe Oliveira will go out there looking for takedowns. Like, he'll try to get Max's back against the cage and peel him, get him to the ground. But I think Holloway survives. If Oliveira wins, I am happy. If Max loses, I am sad. If Max wins, I'm happy. If Oliveira loses, I am sad. This is a terrible matchup for our emotions. But it is what it is. And when it comes to it, I think Holloway has looked a lot better. I think his striking is a lot more dynamic. And I think he's got good grappling awareness. So we're going to take Max Holloway. Probably by finish. Round 2, round 3. I think maybe not an outright KO, but I think a volume KO, TKO is there for him. Maybe he hurts Charles consecutively and then just starts to put it on him up against the cage. I don't know, man. I think if Charles loses, that's it. So we're about to see a retirement. Dude, I think if either guy loses, that might be it. Does Holloway retire after a loss? I think so, because how does he get a 55 title shot if he loses to a guy like Oliveira? But if Oliveira loses, that's it, man. You're done. It's heartbreaking, man. But yeah, like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know who you have in the main event. This has never been I've never had a more damn it pick matchup of just not knowing who's gonna find their and be able to implement their will in this fight. So let me know in the comments who y'all picked. Like and subscribe, share it with your friends if you enjoyed my video. Yeah, see ya.